Okay, so I've been given a cool opportunity to check out a prototype for a knife that is about to be going into production and is about to drop. So let's check this out together. Alright everybody, so this is the Battle Horse Knives Venandi. Now Venandi means hunter in Latin, so I'm guessing it's a hunter type knife. That's what they're going for here. Check it out. Check that out. Alright, and it was designed by Jetta Weber. Alright, have a look-see there. Jetta Weber is a young man. He has his own YouTube review channel. And he decided he wanted to design a knife, and he went with Battle Horse Knives. So look at that. Let's get into the specs of this thing real quick. Alright, we got 1, 2, 3, right at almost 4 inches of, now this version is 01, so 1, 2, 3, almost 4 inches of 01 steel. Got the little JOA for his channel initials there. And then something on this side that I can't make out, but I'm guessing that's going to be the maker's stamp there. Look there. Now you got a full tang here. Check that out. You got a little jimping here, and you have a full flat grind there. Make that thing super slicey. Check that out. Alright, so on the handle you have blasted black micarta, and you have, let's see what he puts here, 3 through bolts, which means they're just pins that were cut off. So it's a solid pin. Let's see, 3 hollow pins with solid pins inside each one. Check that out. It's really nice, really kind of cool looking on the end there. Excellent lanyard hole. We know we like those. Now there is an upgrade to the steel if you decide you want something that's a little more rust resistant or corrosion resistant for somebody that lives in the wet environments, is what he said. You can get the S35 VN version for an upgrade. Now this model here is going to be $180, and then the upgrade version is going to be, let's see what he put, $260. So for $260 you get the S35 VN blade. You also get the excellent, really cool, well done leather sheath here with the ferro rod holder there on the side. So let's see what else. What we're going to do today is not only just look at this on the table, we're going to put it through some testing and see what this knife was meant to do, and we'll compare it to some other knives and check it out. Alright, so let's get to testing. Okay, so one of the things I'm concerned about is how well this knife's going to feel in your hand. I'm already noticing a bit of a hot spot here on this lanyard jetted out area here of the steel, where you use your ferro striker or whatever on, or break walnuts, or whatever you're going to do with that thing. In any kind of useful position, the thing is jabbing you. It's got a really sharp metal edge here, jabbing in your hand. So for the team, I'm going to see if we can chop on this a little bit and see what it feels like. Now let's just look at my hand, just a little bit of redness, but nothing major. So let's just see what this feels like. So, yeah, it's already digging. You can't find a comfortable position. I know this is not to chop wood or whatnot, but still, you can't find a comfortable position for this thing. This, let's say you're doing stuff with this. That hurts. That hurts. That's the only place where it doesn't hurt, is this. So maybe if you're doing some feather sticking or something. So you're gonna get some heat you're gonna get some jabs in your hand. This isn't comfortable. And another thing I'm noticing is this thing doesn't want to hold in your hand. You can't get. I'm gonna try a wet hand on this and see how it feels. Okay, so all I got, there's a little bit of water. Just gonna pour some water on my hand. See what it feels like trying to hold on to this thing. See, this thing already wants to twist just from being. I'm holding this as hard as I can, and I'm twisting on that blade. And just twist the blade with my right hand and pour some more water here. This thing is not going to be fun to use. You get blood or rain. Now, this thing feels, it just keeps twisting on me. So, alright. Wet, this thing does not have any kind of traction or grip on it. I mean, so if you're using this as a hunting knife or something like that, you can be fighting this steel thing back here jabbing you in the hand, and you're gonna be, if it gets wet at all, the thing is not super grippy. It doesn't have enough girth to sit there and get a good grip as far as just being, you know, something big in your hand that you can hold on to. So it's like, I don't know, it's holding on to something wet and slickery. Alright, so let's see what it does when we cut into stuff. Alright, we all know I'm not the greatest at this, so don't judge the blade on my ability. But see, even right there, this thing is still just a little bit damp and wanting to twist out of my hand. So any kind of pressure like that is twisting, you see? So you're coming down like that. Alright, a motorcycle gripping this thing and it's twisting out of my hand. Alright, let me show you. Let me get it wet again. Show you what I'm talking about. So you got your wet hand here. I got this grip and my hand is twisting forward because of how it's just not a good grip. Look at that. I can't even hold on to this thing when it's wet. See? See, watch. See how it's twisting? It's twisting down on me. The handle is cool to look at, but unless you're gonna be using this thing as a steak knife or in arid conditions, or your hands never get sweaty. See, it's just twisting out. The blade is nice. The grind on this thing is really cool, but I can't hold on to it now that it's wet. So, got a really cool blade and a handle that's going to be fighting you the whole way. And then on top of that, you can see the red spot I'm getting from the hot spot that I've been talking about. Alright, so let's see if we can just get a little more this feather sticking stuff going. But any kind of chopping, like serious, this all hurts. None of this makes sense. If you gotta notch something with this knife, if you gotta do anything with this knife besides, I'm guessing, cut vegetables, it's gonna hurt your hand. Alright, let's see if we can cut through this rubber a little bit and just see if we can't. I don't know, that ain't working. Alright, let's try from up here. So, see that, everything about that hurts. Hurts here, hurts in the back. Alright, so it's not cutting through that too good. But, and even from this position, there's no reason to use this position, because at that position, it's cutting into your hand. So it's not looking good for field use on this thing, at least not the way I would use it. So let's go back inside. Okay, so here we are with the Hunter again, back at the table. And we're just gonna go over some things I noticed. Of course, we're gonna go over it again, how slickery it is, how painful this is when you're doing actual work. If you're using this jimping here, this is digging straight just straight in. I mean, whatever you're using this for positions your hand that way. If you're trying to chop with it, this is about the only place you're not going to get ate up with that sharp spot on the back here. So let's pull out some knives that kind of compare to this hunter kind of bushcrafty knife. And you're talking about 180 to start, and then another 80 if you want S35VN instead of 01. So let's just check out some knives that kind of make sense more than that knife does. This is, check it out, the Cold Steel Master Hunter, kind of in that same bushcrafty, flat grind, really useful knife. Now, I know you're thinking it's a lot, but it's really not. If you kind of get it here to here, you're getting about a ½ inch more on blade and just a little bit more here in the rear. But this knife is incredible. You can do everything you want to with this knife. It's indestructible. It's 3V, and you're going to pay right at $100 for this thing, as opposed to, like I said, 180 on this. And if you have a really great steel like that 3V, then you're going to be upgrading. So I don't know. This doesn't make sense when you can get this for this. And I hate to do this to knives. I hate to do this to people's knives, but I was asked to do this, so I'm going to go ahead and do it. All right, here's one that everybody's going to know that makes just as much sense. You can get this, maybe the most famous bushcraft knife out there, the Tops Bob, and you're looking at something that's indestructible. You're looking at something you can strike your fire steel on, your ferro rod. You got all this cool stuff with the bow drill knot here, and it's not hurting your hand when you're using it. Now look, if they would change this just a little bit, if they put a little bit of texture on this handle and they brought this out like here, let's say the handle's out to here. Now it may look off balance, but I think it would balance it even more and just make it that much more comfortable. I don't think they're in any kind of position to do that, but this would be a different knife with about, let's say, about a ½ inch more on the butt, just so you're not digging into this. Or if they restructured that a little bit so it's not sharp up here, I don't know. It twists out your hand too, so they got to fix that. The way it's shaped and the way it's all smooth, this is so smooth, I can't hardly stop my thumb on it. Now look, you're gonna stop your, it's got a little, even this has got a little traction here. This is just really smooth. It looks cool. If your whole intent on this was to take Instagram pictures or just show off to your buddies at church or whatever, this would make sense. But any kind of serious use for this thing is going to be a drag. And I hate to say that, and I hope they have time to change it, because if you just put that much more on this knife, you wouldn't even have to change the blade. It would give you that much more leverage on that blade. It wouldn't hurt, and it would just be a little bit more on that butt, and it would be a totally different experience. So add that to the butt, because I like the blade. I like the blade, but the handle ruins this knife. So bring it out to here. Put a little texture on it. I don't care if it's, you don't have to be rubber or anything. Even the texture on this non-smoothed out micarta is enough to just keep it in hand, because the way this thing is shaped, you don't get as strong a grip as you do on something that's just right there. You couldn't twist this out of my hand with vice grips. I mean, this thing was wanting to slip out of my hand while it was feather sticking. So, just to show I'm not trying to be mean to young guys making it, there's the guy last year had this knife made, and this knife, to me, just makes a lot more sense than this knife. And it can be used for just about the same thing. I mean, the blade, we're losing a little bit on the blade, so you got, but still, it's not like you're chopping on trees with this. You can do everything with this D2 steel. And you all, I know what you all are doing. You're all looking at the handle and saying, well, this is tiny. But now look at useful handle on this. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull my finger all the way to the front of this finger guard, and then where this finger is going to be. And then look how much you have on that handle. See? The handle to the micarta is the same. It's almost exactly the same. Now you got this thing jutting out the butt, but this part jags up with the micarta just perfectly. And then look how much room you're losing up here on your blade, and that's bringing your hand back down here to be jammed into by that. So let's get that out of the way. This is a useful knife. I use it all the time, carry it all the time, and beat it up in the testing video I did on it, just like I did on this one. Just tried to beat it up. I think I actually did a little bit more beating with this one. So I'm not trying to ruin anybody's day or anything, or future aspirations, but this knife needs a little bit work. I certainly wouldn't pay $180 for it. Definitely wouldn't upgrade to $260. There are so many options out there. You know, the 140, 100. I mean, you can get this one for, I think, 95, 100 bucks, something like that. And I mean, you're starting to get into the idea of the lesser known custom guys that make bushcraft. There's a guy in Poland that makes a bushcraft knife that out of D2 or other steels, and it just makes more sense in hand. And this one just seems like a cool idea to look at, but not a great idea in practice. I mean, looking at these knives, you obviously, let's see if we can get some light on them so we can look at them. If you just, this is a really cool looking knife, but, and I was really excited to review it, but getting it in hand is a different story. Getting in hand, you put this knife on that handle, see, that's a cool knife. I mean, I like that knife. I mean, this knife is basically that knife with that rubberized handle, just a bigger, wider blade. But even if you did that, I mean, shoot, if you got a rubberized blade like that, stuck it on here, it would still make more sense. There's just things that need to be done to this knife to make it something that I would buy, especially at that price point. All right, let me know what you think down there. Am I way off on this? Is this something that's going to tear up the knife industry? Have I ruined enough people's days? Just leave a comment down there. Do me a favor, subscribe, like down there, subscribe over here, hit the notification bell, and check these videos out and share them with your friends. And I'll talk to you later.